Of course, with the Naga Siren pickup, that does maybe push 5Rat's window a little bit further into the later stages, but I think they're going to be okay with that unless Beast Coast come up with something, even bigger and even stronger. But, well, if you're Beast Coast, do you want to play that game? Do you want to try and match the timing, or do you attempt to,
Ooh.
maybe get something that's going to build up a little bit faster as the Alk pick comes into play here? So that's not a bad answer at this point, ET. The Alk doesn't really get picked up all that often, but could be a solid choice. I still have a concern, though. Alk does not help you in terms of that concern you still have with the Nyx Assassin. If you don't have a BKB, Acid Spray can stun yourself, Concoction you can stun yourself twice over, just hitting yourself and hitting the Carapace, so they will still have to be very cautious of that.
Yeah, and the hero I was thinking for myself was maybe the Sven in that same position, but
Hmm.
this is also a safe laner who becomes an initiator, who again relieves some of the stress from the other heroes, where Beast Coast really didn't have an easy blink initiation until this Alk pickup, but it certainly is going to feel all right. And if, let's say, Beast Coast just banned out 2 offlaners now, the Alk pick really shouldn't be under too much pressure in the lane, and with melee fours, well, eventually the Nyx Assassin's going to be annoying with that Carapace, but until then, Alk really cannot be put under too much pressure by the Nyx Assassin. And like I said, if they hit with both their bans here with Speed's hero pool, then really there's not too much for Hector to worry about. And I think Timbersaw ban, absolutely perfect. So is the Lesh ban, though, from 5RAT. They need to cover this Naga, make sure that Dark Mago doesn't get his perfect hero. I think that's where maybe you could look at, I was going to say a Batrider ban, but again, it's another hero that the Nyx Assassin's just so good against.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they go for a Kunkka ban instead. But I do wonder, this is the latest that I think we've seen Beast Coast go for Dark Mago's hero. And I think Dark Mago, period. I think over the past 3 years when Thunder Awakened, I've never seen Dark Mago drafted for last pick. This is different because he is the player that doesn't care about matchups, doesn't care about other heroes. He just plays his own game typically, but they're saving something special for him.
Yeah, typically, back on Thunder Awakened, they really did try to get his hero in the first 2 phases. More often the first phase, they would just pick him up something, they would get his Ember, they would get his Kunkka, and basically just kind of throw that gauntlet down and say, here's our pick, see if you can counter it, which most teams couldn't. But for Beast Coast, new lineup, new thought process, and, well, as you said, maybe a new pick itself? Not really sure. It might have to be, because a lot of those mid options were already banned away as 5RAT. That is going to be, I believe, the Speed Undying. Really, I think the only one in the field of teams for this event, at least, who has been willing to run that core Undying, and it's worked pretty well. And I mean, you're going to be laning against some strength heroes, presumably, so should be a fun time for him.
No, and it certainly is a specialty hero, and into the lane, it just feels great. I think Jakiro might be slightly problematic. Just the attack slow makes it maybe harder to fight for those denies because speed is so good at the laning phase. But I think at the same time, he's just going to beat up this Alk. He's got so much more base damage. He's just going to be very, very obnoxious. And we'll have to see how the Nyx Assassin decides to play the lane. If we just see the immediate creep pull going, some of that shenanigans that honestly might favor the Alk ever so slightly, but I just know that as soon as speed hits level 3, level 4, the second point up in decay, he just never stops. And I think a large part of Beast Coast's draft and what they should look here for Dark Mago's hero is an easy way to gank his lane. Because you shut down speed, well, he's an Undying. An Undying as well that always goes for auras. We never see Speed really do that carry Undying offlane build. He's always looking for Holy Locket, for Pipe, for early utility items. And if you can slow his roll, Speed is so used to playing with that laning advantage and with that net worth surplus that if you stop him in his tracks, then maybe that build starts to fail, and then maybe all the pressure then relies on your Tusk.
But what is that hero that's not only going to hold up in lane against presumably the Tusk pick, but also will have the strength and the movement necessary to gank a core Undying? Not an easy choice, but that is not a bad decision with the Monkey King. Of course. Oh, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
They dodge it.
Swap it.
Makes
It will
complete
be
sense.
K1 Monkey. They're gonna send the Alk mid. We do get to see the Sacred Snapfire, which, yeah, honestly, with the way that this lineup plays, it did seem more likely Sacred would take the snap over the Dawn. He doesn't really like the Cordon Breaker all that much, Sacred in particular. He'll do it, but not his preference. On the other side, about what we expected as well. Naga 1, Tusk 2, Undying at the 3.
Yeah, and they decide to put Moose on the Rubik. So AB1 now
Okay.
going to be a little bit less helpful for the Naga in lane. And honestly, a lane that I'm a little bit scared of for DNM just because Snapfire Dawn is a lot of magic damage, damage that your illusions will just straight up die to. I think one Scatter Blast in that point blank range is just going to cleave. It's also where I think the Undying hasn't really been put underneath too much lane pressure up until this point. And Monkey Jakiro, well, that's a real strong, real annoying lane. It's where I think if speed gives away 1-2 deaths early, if you can get a level advantage with the Monkey King, really, Hector's never going to look back. It's where the first 3 levels from speed have to be played absolutely perfectly. Once that second point up in Jingu is there, then the lane can spiral out of control. And you don't want to see speed jungling on Undying. That is worst case scenario for him. You don't want that to happen. And we'll have to see, because I really feel like Beast Coast were going to try and keep K1 on that Alchemist up until this Undying pick. But now Dark Mako's playing mid-alch. And of course, mid-alch versus a hero like the Tusk that just simply nukes in the creep waves with Ice Shards. So Kits is going to be able to rotate once those lanes are in. But Dark Mako's going to get free farmed at the same time. So a risk here, because Kits needs to hit with those rotations while Dark Mako is stuck being kind of a useless alchemist farming in the mid lane, but a farming alchemist. So something that you're always going to have to be concerned with.
And we'll have to see really which style works earliest, I suppose, right? Because as you say, if Kits makes the rotations, if he hits, he's still going to be looking good, but you will always have that alchemist sort of over your shoulder looking back, checking on his numbers pretty frequently just to make sure he's not, well, he's not running away with the game, but we'll see how it plays out. Game 1 getting underway here. As a reminder, folks, this is an elimination matchup, so the loser of this series will be the first team knocked out of Phase 3. The winner obviously advances on to the next round of the lower bracket. So neither of these squads really planned on being knocked out this early in the bracket, and they're going to be giving it their all to try and stay in it. As Kits, a little bit off the mark there with the shards, doesn't get the trap onto Schofield, and don't really know if they're going to be able to do much in terms of the fighting here. Sacred comes in with Scatter Blast, and that should force everybody back.
No full retreat. Not the worst situation, but it's where 5RAT are prepared for round 2, though. They've got really strong vision at this top bounty rune spot. It's where Schofield, of course, having the boots first is really why he's able to evade that gank, but with level 1 Celestial Hammer, he can't really hop over a shard, so has to be really careful here, especially if he is going to contest like this, but Schofield's trying to make him choose. Of course, choosing versus the Nyx Assassin with Impale, AB1 is just prepared to stun you and make sure that steal doesn't happen, but only if they hit on the rune, and Sacred might get bullied away, and the stun does land, but Moose does not want to skill uplift, and he will, and will they get the kill? Now they need the kill.
Can't afford to miss now. Where's the damage? There it is. Speed gets it. First blood secured. Still not a great start to lane for Moose. Telekinesis at 1 is horrible as a feeling as a Rubik player, but you got the first blood. Hopefully they can get him up to level 2 in the next, minute, and all will be well.
But got what you wanted, and well, given Speed a first blood start, he's going to immediately use that to advantage.
Stinger just trying to maybe keep him a little bit distracted while K1 takes the first wave. Yeah, not a bad play there. Get the Monkey King off to as strong a start as possible. And here's where this lane is going to suck. That is Dual Breath into Jingu. Speed loses half of his HP just right at the very start. And you're a melee core against a Monkey King. This is just going to happen.
Yeah, but of course, nice damage, and it did land onto Speed, but not an immediate response to the creep pull that was going on. So now Moose is going to be able to pull this without boots, blocked both camps all the way behind the tower. Kind of just got a little bit careless there from Stinger. And maybe the creeps tank a few of these tower shots, so not a perfect creep pull, while K1 is already set up behind his own tower, but I still feel like they got what they wanted. Now it's slightly unfortunate. Moose without boots needs to walk all the way over to the Monkey King to make sure that this wave pushes in under the tower. But at the end of the day, I think Speed is going to get a whole lot of XP for free now.
And meanwhile, over in mid, Kits is playing a very dangerous game here, running his HP pretty damn low, but willing to take the risk that Dark Mago didn't skill up the Unstable Concoction early on, so that'll be the factor, right? Dark Mago, realistically speaking, should not be skilling this up much, just absolutely farm-focused will likely be the play for him, but that'll be the indicator. If he is looking to get aggressive, he will need that stun, so just going to keep an eye on the levels for him moving forward.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how Dark Mago decides to play the mid Alk, because of course, no small camp anymore, no stacking shenanigans. It's why the hero really ceased being a mid laner. But if Dark Mago can make it work, again, we'll have to keep a close eye, because he could be that secondary win objective for them to play around if this Monkey King starts to get slowed down. But, ooh, a lot of damage. ENM trading out pretty nicely into Schofield there.
They are poking and prodding across the other two lanes, ET, but this is a brawl up top as K1, well, it's a brawl down bot too, apparently. Missed that one. K1 gets picked. Moose. Well, we said he had to hit level 2. Eventually, he does manage to get there, but still had the telekinesis, and between that and an early point up in the tombstone, the monkey really wasn't ready. Didn't even have any sort of tree dance play if he had gotten the time to make an escape, so bit of an unexpected kill, but it is going to be a 2-0 start for 5RAT.
Yeah, and the tomb does go down, and then I do believe Hector got that last hit, so mitigate the risk a little, but still, it's a very nice play, and just going to continue to abuse the fact that Hector doesn't have his boots just yet. It's exactly what they should look to do for 5RAT.
They found a couple of kills. Meanwhile, I do want to point out one thing. We were talking about the fighting, the exchange of damage up top, and it is true that they were sort of going at each other. All of this sort of early fighting from DNM has come at the expense of his last hit count in the first few minutes here. He's not even at double digits yet, and he's actually just going to die here. Schofield gets in with level 3, has the second point up in the hammer, and well, AB1 was going for the pull, and while he's out of lane for just that narrow window, they're able to strike.
Yeah, and this is the problem. Without that Nyx Assassin just hiding in the trees, and of course, during daytime, you really always know where that Nyx is playing. The magic damage harass is huge, and it's where this lane only gets more difficult for DNM. It's where, because the Nyx needs to be so close to stop that engage, that exact engage from happening, he's going to be sapping XP from DNM, which means that the Naga has to stay in lane for longer, which, again, puts him at higher risk. DNM would love to start jungling at level 6, but level 6 looks quite a ways away right now with how close the Nyx straight up has to be, because otherwise he dies to the Dawnbreaker.
To be in position to play defensively, so a little bit of a detriment as he impaled for a creep there, so now they know he doesn't have his stun. The Carapace is going to be useful, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Maybe one trying to get into the trees. Can they spot him out? Well, they don't need to. Scatterblast has a relatively long range there, and Sacred's going to be able to pick up the kill. Meanwhile, mid hits, makes his move. Ice Shards able to block in the Alchemist. Still no point in the Unstable Concoction because he was going for the macro ability T, and that time around, not only is he punished for it, but Stinger TP'd in there too late to help, so he's now out of position. K1's got to fall back in the bottom lane.
Yeah, just a little bit of a collapse, and of course, knowing that the Alk isn't the strongest hero, it's just a real nice little play from Kits that puts pressure elsewhere on the map. And that's before he hits level 6 as well, so now Kits has the punch. He can just start going to work here on Dark Mago if he wants to, but look at this. Even Glyph's his own wave, just continue to do damage, and now Dark Mago, oh, are you dead again? This is a, oh, that's a rough one.
Schofield again, well, not Schofield, it was Stinger last time, but another support TP's in after the fact. He'll be able to soak up some experience, if nothing else, but this is not the way they wanted this to go. Now, Schofield may just die. Tries to contest the rune, doesn't know AB1 is there, and now his Starbreaker is canceled by the Carapace. Kits gets another kill, and, well, ET, when we talked about the Tusk needing to sort of hit, needing to find early kills, I don't know about you, but I was not talking about a 6-minute window. I thought it was going to be a little later before he started getting involved, but he's on the attack right away. He could push his way bot if he wants to. And someone like the Monkey King at this point doesn't have the ult, not even really close, so if the Tusk does go looking for him, I don't know how much defensive capability they'll have.
Yeah, and he would like to go bottom, but that's where Dark Megaku is just going to anchor down the mid lane as soon as that mid wave is at the tower and there's a cart, which makes Kits want to rotate even more. Is somebody does have to come, and Kits doing a good job defending his tower, even cutting off the creep wave so that way the tower aggroes directly onto the cart. Means that that's not going to take too much damage here, but it is not going to be a dance for Dark Mago to work around this Tusk. And of course, now that Kits has 4 points up in shards, those creep waves will get pushed in so quickly, and then he can afford to go bottom. But look, bot, lose. Yeah, Schofield lost track of him for a second there, but you're going to lose your Jakiro, who will be able to get the tomb kill, but I don't know if you have anything else left for the Rubik.
Schofield's out. He has no abilities left. Has the mana, but cooldowns are a little bit more important there, and well, to be honest, at this point, yeah, 215 gold to 5RAT, so getting the tombstone does make up for a lot of the economic losses there, but it's still a 3-man rotation. They were hoping for actual kills, and they don't get it, and now here comes Kits. Cue up the Jaws theme. He is on the hunt, and Speed is just baiting them forward a little bit. I don't think they want Singer again, but it's the easier kill. They're just going to go in for it quickly, and they do manage to pick it up. Moose, though, will he be able to survive? Speed not able to heal him up, so they do lose one, and now the Kiss is coming in. Well, Speed might actually go down here, and okay. That time around, that trade's going to be far more beneficial. They do have to bring basically 4 heroes into the lane in total ET, but they get something for their trouble. Kits? Okay. Just, a friendly walrus punch to the face to remind Sacred that he's there, but not much more.
Yeah, really good rotation. Something that Sacred is so consistent with. Just always makes a trip to the safe lane as soon as he gets level 6, and they lose track of him for a second. It's why the Undying goes down so easily. You don't lose very much balance, though, in the map as a whole. DNM takes over mid, which, of course, is a situation where you're just going to farm, but Sacred, yeah, super far up. This lane ward paying its dividends, and well, that's an incredibly free kill. Just didn't expect, even though they knew that Kits was still playing bottom, they just expect that there's no good way for Sacred to die or that he can just hop over the ice shards, but the magic nuke is just way too much.
They got the damage, they got the lockdown, and well, they're going to get a little bit more chip onto this tower. Creep wave's kind of going to die pretty quickly here, but they are hitting it up, and at this point, yeah, they want Schofield as well. There's going to be the snowball, makes the connection. Sacred is TPing in. He is going to get here, but not in time to save his teammate, and this is getting a little bit awkward. Speed is pretty low. That Soul Rip really didn't heal him up much, but he is buying some time. Kit's deciding, does he want to go back in a couple seconds before his abilities are all back up, but it would be risky, although now he may not have a choice. Stinger just spotted him. They're going to get the dual breath down. Sacred doesn't have any abilities available, though, so they might just have to let him go, but okay. No, they want to take this fight. They're TPing, well, a Dawnbreaker who is going to take too long. That's a delayed TP, and Kits will walk out.
Yeah, kind of gets dragged around a little bit there, and they do keep the pressure on the Tusk, so doesn't get control of that river, loses out on another rune, but people just keep refilling Kits' bottle. He'll just keep taking it. His teammates die, but he's still fine, and again, Sacred, well, the support's just moved away, and okay, he gets the hop off, but again, this is so much magic damage, and, well, just hit 6 on Moose. Scavs now has a level 4 Scatterblast, and the supports are here, but the supports aren't level 6 yet. Schofield will get that off the Tome, and Soul Guardian's finally available, but they missed out on their play.
Yeah. It just feels like that's been the theme of this game, really, a lot of the way through. The supports get there, but not in time to really have the impact that they need, so I don't know. The instinct is good from the supports. The timing's just the thing that's kind of off. Is Schofield gonna get himself into some trouble. There's the lift into the snowball, into the punch. Quick and easy kill. Stinger makes his way over with the ice path, and Sacred did TP in. They're gonna go for the kisses, looking for the Rubik kill, and while they get it, they will lose their tower, and now Kits, well, he scouted out Sacred, but he realizes, I don't know if I have the help to take this fight. Now, though, with Speed to back him up, they're looking for something. Can they get another ability up? Eh, not really. Speed, though, going to do his best to keep Sacred in position, so that buys the time for the cooldown. Sacred, though, getting some help from the... Oh, well, he got a little bit of help from the Solar Guardian, but they do dodge most of it. Kits, though, does still go down in the end. But it looks like Speed may just walk out of here, or maybe not. He's turning around. He wants the fight, and Schofield, do you have enough damage? No, you don't. This is unfortunate. Here comes Dark Mago, but it's too late. There's not going to be a kill opportunity. He self-stuns.
Well, I tried.
The timings, it's so unfortunate, ET. It's off by seconds every single time, but that's all the window that you need to present. 5RAT have been able to take advantage of it.
And it speeds a Mad Lad for that one. It survives on 6 HP. There's many universes where he goes down, but finds the perfect one. And you give that streak over to Schofield, which is maybe slightly unfortunate. We'll see what that Dawnbreaker goes for item-wise next. But Kits is so high level right now. He can continue to just put this pressure out onto the map. He's got 8 kills. All of his spells are maxed out. It's where, during this entire time, not a peep from Hector, who has been peacefully farming up in that top lane. But if I had to guess, that's where Beast Coast probably look to make their next play. And getting that Monkey King involved is going to be that important, because you need to make space for Dark Mago. He has his Radiance now. Now he can farm quickly and can start to turn into that win objective. But until he gets a BKB, he really doesn't want to show up into a lot of these fights. It's where he needs armor, he needs it, and
the
mid, the Carapace, it's just that simple.
Kisses are going to come in.
Dead.
They will get AB1. Moose is going to cop some damage here as well, but not enough to bring him down. And ET, stop me if you've heard this before, but the play is there from Sacred. It's just too late to make a difference.
Yeah, just very reactive, not proactive at all. Just feels like Beast Coast are playing a step behind 5RAT, which is how you want to say for what is supposed to be your front runner in this game. But 5RAT up until this split have just played some really darn clean Dota. And now they are getting set up top, and Kits is going to take quite a bit of damage here. But again, a play that is trying to connect, and there you go. The Ice Path, that's what's important with the Fulp Solar Guardian. No way for AB1 to save his mid laner, and that is a mistake from Kits.
Gets a little bit too far forward, forgets about the Solar Guardian, but they're going to look for a little bit more. They're in onto AB1. Moose is trying to dish out some damage, but I don't know about this, but with speed coming in, okay, all of a sudden, it gets a little bit more complicated. K1's in some trouble. The telekinesis is actually canceled by the cookie, so they still get him away, but not far enough. Speed, able to find the kill. Now he's looking to take on a fight against Sacred. Meanwhile, over to the west, AB1 still dancing. I think he is going to die to some DOT here. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, he does go down. Speed falls as well as Sacred wins that fight, and well, that's the first time we've seen Beast Coast take that one, I would say, pretty cleanly. The Monkey King going down is unfortunate, but 3-for-1 overall.
Yeah, 5RAT just flooding the TPs in after the Tusk goes down. They lose really all of their instantaneous damage, and then as soon as the sentries are placed and the heroes are grouped, you're not going to be able to close the gap with anybody with your Vendetta. So just push themselves to the brink there and get punished. Sure, space for DNM. The caveat that you can always say for 5RAT whenever the rest of the lineup is struggling or dying. But it's still the perfect way that Dark Mago wanted to get into this game. You just go at your strongest, you get the reveal, you get that river control, get an illusion rune as well, which is going to give Dark Mago another 200-300 GPM. And this is the scary part of the game, where you're getting that BKB on Dark Mago, you still don't have any armor items, and Kits has a Deso, so you can still get bursted with that damage, but once he has this BKB, will it stick? Can you find that punch? Is you not having a Blink Dagger going to be enough of initiation, or are there going to be troubles ahead for 5RAT? That's really all that they're worried about right now. As bid, okay. Yeah, they think it's real, but
they
it
initiated
ain't real.
onto both of the illusions there, so yeah, that's a wee bit unfortunate, but you know what? They didn't spend any major cooldowns. They smoke up immediately afterwards, still looking for their fight. Assuming Dark Mago's sort of farming somewhere in the jungle, but somewhere is only slightly helpful. They do need to actually track him down, or might just look for a fight in the middle lane. Both the supports are here, so they're going to try and push their way in. Schofield taken down right away, but on the backline, AB1, he's attracting attention, but maybe not in the way he wanted. He's going to get taken down, and Dark Mago, he TP's in. There's the concoction, hitting up Kiss. The Mortimer Kiss is coming through as well. Speed's heal is helpful, but not enough. And 5RAT, they're starting to lose their edge a little bit here. Now that Dark Mago's getting more involved, they're in some serious trouble, and Speed, he's just going to get run down. Pops the Flesh Golem. Don't know how much that's going to really help him, though. It doesn't make him tanky enough to live. And Beast Coast take 3 kills there, 2 of them going into the hands of the Monkey King, and this is where things get unbelievably concerning, ET, because 5RAT, I mean, what is their response? The Naga Siren really isn't ready to fight. I guess if push came to shove, you could try it with just the Song and the Manta, but you're not in the position to go toe-to-toe with someone like the Alchemist.
No, you're going to have to wait. It's why the Alk pushing the game forward is one of the better counters versus the Naga Siren. But that's also where Kits, and I'm glad he queued it up, just needs a BKB. It's the one thing that you need to abuse versus the Dawnbreaker and the Snap. As soon as you have those BKBs, all of these new heroes are effectively useless. And Kits gets the vision, barely there on Stinger, but nice hop, and then the shards play against him, so he's not able to stick onto that Jakiro. Unfortunately, that is the only BKB they get to play around. I don't think Speed is going to turn his build. He's still going to be the Aura King, and sure, that's going to have its own benefits, but you're not going to pop 3 BKBs with all of your cores on 5RAT and then immediately start to man fight Dark Mega or K1. It's just not how their lineup plays. So really, again, a lot of that pressure is going to be on Kits to do pretty much everything for the lineup.
He is going to have to be the engine here for 5RAT for quite some time, and well, it's perfectly possible that that does end up working for them, right? That his BKB alone still allows them to find these picks and keep themselves close. It's just, you didn't want that to be the case, right? You didn't want to have to rely solely on Kits until you can pass the baton over to a maxed out Naga Siren, but that's the way it's looking right now. We're only 17 minutes in. There is still plenty of time for momentum to potentially shift, but the trend is forming.
No, it's starting to definitely become a concern, though, as well as once Dark Mega has that Blink Dagger, well, then he starts every single fight. He doesn't need to wait for anybody else, even though Sacred has a Blink Dagger of his own. And of course, this build doesn't feel quite as good as it used to whenever the Ag Shard was attached to the Scatter Blast, but that version of Snapfire was pretty darn annoying. And he's doing it what he wants. Every single time a Tombstone's going down, just immediately gets popped by the Little Shredder. It's why Speed has just decided to completely ignore Tombstone, because there's just simply too many instances where Sacred can just kill it straight up.
Yeah, opted to max out his other spells first. Obviously now he'll go back for it just because he doesn't really have much of a choice, but it was not a point of emphasis. AB1, he thought about it, but between just him and Speed, that's probably not enough damage to find the Dark Mego kill. So they do back it off. Of course, I don't know. That is still one thing for Dark Mego. He is very strong right now, but if you can catch him before his BKB activates, and if you can catch him maybe when the cooldown is up for Chemical Rage, you have an opening, but right now the opening is in the river. Schofield does get stunned immediately by the Carapace, but it just doesn't matter. They've got the numbers to overpower those defenses. But they take down Speed, and now the Nyx Assassin is on the run as well. He's not going to make it out.
Yeah, just a sentry in the river that barely misses this River Ward, and Beast Coast just push it, and they get what they want. Just still continuing to punish Speed, and Speed is falling off the horse. This is where that Aura build, it doesn't feel so good from behind. If he had, you know, another 5k net worth to mess around with, then that's the Speed Undying we all know and love, but just wasn't able to keep that lead. And you hate to say it, but it all comes back to that top tier 1 tower defense that went so sour for 5RAT. That was kind of the beginning here, because Beast Coast are just farming. They're just happy. They're getting to these big item timings. Dark Mango's taking triple stack in the Ancients right now, and we've never seen 5RAT make really a conceited effort at getting into that triangle. It's always been plays made on the Jakiro, the Dawn, the Snapfire, but the cores on Beast Coast are just feeling flawless right now. And Dark Mago, sure, KDA is still not too pretty, but Blink Dagger now, he is ready to become that team fight, and Beast Coast have a wicked smoke right now.
Are they gonna actually pop it? Dark Mago needs to take a step or two back here, although, yeah, they wanted to clear out those illusions first. Still not quite grouping up, so this is going to be a little bit delayed, but they can take as much time as they really need to. They've got the double Blink Dagger, although they might run into someone before they even get the chance to smoke, because Kits is scouting him out. He's going to look for Stinger. They want the easiest possible kill here. They will be able to get it, but now how do they deal with this? Dark Mago's coming in. Does DNM go for the song? Not yet. Faking it out a bit. Waiting to see if he has a better opportunity. And there it is. It's going to cancel out the kisses immediately. They catch K1 in it as well. They'll drop a tombstone, and now they can decide. Do we want to go back in? Looks like for now they do, but there's that BKB. Dark Mega wants to fight. AB1 taken down right away. Kits, meanwhile, well, he snowballs in, but he snowballs into the Wukong's command. Now he's stunned up by the cookie. And Kits, I mean, he's just straight up dead. Sacred takes him down over to the east. Well, Dark Mago is now starting to get into a little bit of trouble, but there's the Solar Guardian. Schofield comes in, resets the fight. DNM, he's got to run. No Manta, no Song, no backup other than, well, I guess a stolen Solar Guardian. That does allow DNM to get out, but Moose had to sacrifice himself for that play. I suppose they do get the Dark Mago kill as well, so that is going to be slightly worthwhile. Oh my god, Moose. He buys back. They're going to look to go back in. Do they have any cancel for Schofield's TP, though? No, they don't. And they don't have the means to catch up to Sacred either, so really... I don't know about that buyback. Moose's is not maybe the most expensive, so I guess they can just kind of eat that cost ET, but when he bought back, you were kind of hoping that they had some sort of big swing, and it didn't really materialize.
Yeah, and it is unfortunate they don't get the Dawnbreaker kill, because that's what they hashed out for. Otherwise, he would have maybe tried to stay onto the Snapfire a little bit longer, but really, Moose... in that buyback, saves Speed's life. It forces Hector to immediately start to back up. It gets the Monkey King away, which is all that really matters there. Because Speed certainly wanted to stay alive, did not want to give up his life yet again. But still, that team fight did not look to be what they wanted. I think it's very fortunate that Moose was able to steal the Solar Guardian and then bait Dark Mago into a pretty bad death. But that's a situation that really shouldn't happen for Beast Coast. And up until that moment, they were completely winning that team fight, and they still have all the map control in the world. It's where Kit still needs his BKB before he can really confidently take any of these engagements, because he will just die after he uses his own snowball, but we're still working there. And we'll see, smoke in the river. This could be the pick. They need the lift. There it is.
Oh boy, they just blow him up. Not even a chance for the monkey. Just got his BKB delivered, but, well, he would have had to BKB for no reason out of the blue with no vision to actually survive that one, so heads up play. I do want to point out, Moose stole a max level acid spray here as well, so obviously it wasn't super important for the kill onto the monkey, but going to help the Roche attempt, and if the BKBs don't come out preemptively for Beast Coast, all of a sudden, oh, their whole lineup may not have that armor advantage that they were sort of used to as Dark Mago. Okay. He's going to push his way in here. Solar Guardian comes out as well, but there's the Song. Kit's not going to go down just yet. They're trying to heal him up. They want to stick around for the fight. AB1 looking for the stuns, but there's the BKB. Dark Mago and Sacred both go in, but they haven't actually taken anyone out just yet. Kit's able to get, well, enough time there. As his Aegis will expire, but he's back up. He's looking for the fight. They get the stun onto Dark Mago. He is running out of time on his Chemical Rage. They need to bring the reinforcements, but K1, he's here. There's going to be the stun into the Wukong's command. AB1 and Speed both dead. Kit's now in some trouble. Already used the Aegis. Can't afford to go down again. I don't know if he gets away here. K1 is chasing. Dark Mago blinks in, gets the stun. Kits goes down. And 5RAT just tried to do a little bit too much there on the secondary fight, and actually, Moose isn't going to get out of here. K1 tracks him down, picks up the triple kill, and silver lining is that your Naga Siren does not die. DNM gets out, but that goes very, very badly.
Yeah, you only lose the Jakiro there on Beast Coast. Just felt like the fight dragged on too long, and sure, you're trying to punish Dark Mago for not having his BKB, but I think what really caught them off guard was Sacred's BKB. Just in that fight, they ended up spending up so much time trying to burst the Snapfire, but then Sacred simply sits there, reacts, and then just kind of starts killing you, and then when the fight does drag that long, it just buys time for the Monkey King to rotate over. It's the simplest rotation that Hector could have looked for. And then, without the BKB on Kits, there's no second fight. There's no way for him to survive that long. It's where Speed is also looking for just some raw tankiness to survive out for these super long engagements, and it's just not there. It's also where that was not a level 3 song, so still very long cooldown. It's where 5RAT have to continuously give up more and more of their map each time they lose those team fights. It will eventually loop back around, though, where 5RAT will probably hit their own power spike. DNM just got a heart, so certainly a lot tankier and a lot more difficult to deal with, but I think that's where needs this Bloodthorn. Then he can punish the heroes on Beast Coast without BKB, and then that long team fight, again, flips around. It's where you get to abuse the other end, because Beast Coast, they have 3 BKBs, they have 3 BKBs to use, and when they're gone, then that's when 5RAT want to make that secondary jump.
And the timers are in a little bit of an awkward spot, right? We've got 8 for the Snapfire, K1's is fresh, but Dark Mago's is just about down to shortest duration, so that could matter, right? One guy's going to go in having, what, 3 or 4 fewer seconds of magic immunity, so your timing is going to be potentially disrupted, and that could be 5RAT's chance to strike if they are paying close enough attention to it. But for now, might want to pump the brakes on the aggression, right? DNM still needs quite a bit of farm. You have to, there we go, have that BKB delivered out. There it is. So, Kits has got some magic immunity. I suppose Kits could look for maybe a pickoff or two if the supports are behind him at this stage, ET, but it has to actually be a pickoff. You have to be unbelievably certain that you're going in on 1 or 2 heroes at the most, because if it turns into a team fight, Kits has been punished repeatedly, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. He's going to get in there, cool, he finds the kill, but now you need to get the hell away from the rest of Beast Coast, and he managed to do it this time, but it cost him his 9 second.
Yeah, BKB for a pick, still very valuable, and they do get to defend that bottom tier 1, so buys them a little bit more time, but still think that 5RAT are kind of happy with that. Now they should wait a full minute. Don't try to press yourselves a little bit too thin. Make sure that Kits has that BKB for a next engagement, and then you could see 5RAT going for a smoke. But good little plays like that go a long way as this game goes on. It's where maybe landing onto Sacred's a bigger fish to fry, but Sacred's been playing so far back. I understand why he has so few deaths.
He has been playing a pretty efficient game, and we said this the last time they put Sacred on the hero. You do end up playing the Snapfire a little bit further back than any other conventional offlaner, but that doesn't really become a concern if you still have the strong enough front line to keep the fights going, and so far they have, so they haven't really been punished too heavily, although K1, that's not where you want to be. He's going to get stunned up, Snowball's coming in, can he pop his... Actually, he can't, his BKB's still on cooldown for 15, so they're going to find the kill. The kisses are flying through, however, and Kits is going to get stunned up. And, well, there was back to the warning that we were giving a little while back, right? You need to make sure that that hero's actually alone, because the reinforcements were close enough, and you do get a nice kill, right? K1 going down is big, but the cost now is going to really nullify a lot of that. You lost 2, and now you're going to lose your tier 1 tower as well.
Yeah, and I do wonder if maybe the Soul Guardian was 5-10 seconds off, but of course, even though the Monkey doesn't have his BKB, well, the Tusk doesn't have his BKB. They traded before, you know? It's where 5RAT, in instigating that play, you know, they know what they're doing, and when they get punished for it, they also know why they got punished, because they wait maybe 5-10 seconds more. Maybe it's a closer kill on the Monkey, but Kits can just BKB TP away. It's where with the Basher now, maybe that's a little bit less likely from Dark Mago, just canceling if you're trying to BKB TP away from him, but still, just doesn't feel great. At least you kill the Monkey. That's the one thing. And you bring all of the attention away from the Naga, who gets in mid, who gets in top, which sets up for another smoke for 5RAT, and one that they should probably go for, just because it feels like the right thing to do at this stage. They would love to maybe take a peek and see if they find that DD in the river, but finding that Monkey would be honestly ideal, and K1's in the exact same spot he died before, but support is much closer this time.
This would be a rather sizable engagement, and Dark Mago was able to upgrade his Basher into a full-on Abyssal, but they're just going to try and take him down right away. Do they have enough, though? Yes, they do. Dark Mago is dead, but K1, he got off the Wukong's command, but now here comes the song. The BKBs will start to wear off here, and they're getting locked down. 5RAT, what's the play? The Wukong's command is going to dissipate as well, and now they're moving in. Kits snowballs his way onto Stinger, not going to be able to find the kill immediately. And they're really not getting too much out of this. Stinger does end up going down, but DNM's got to catch somebody. He's got the ensnare. Sacred, in trouble, lifted up, pulled back, and they do finish him off. So, a very delayed second round after that song, ET, but they managed to get it done, and this is the exact scenario the Beast Coast were afraid of. Those BKBs are just too short now.
Yeah, and of course, Dark Mago didn't even get to use his. He was just perfectly chain stunned, but that's also where Moose getting his first Ice Path of the game is a terrifying hero. You have to be careful in Schofield. Well, he's got a Force Staff, but he's punched. He's going to take so much damage, and There you go. This is where Rubik starts to carry you. And even though it's unfortunate with the song interval, they weren't able to get any damage on the monkey before he jumped out, but there's no BKB yet on Hector's, though. He very hesitantly wants to make this defense happen. TPing back feels pretty darn bad. Can he get a buyback out of the Dawn? 5RAT are getting a little bit of momentum here. And now they get to scour this top side, get control of the pit before they retreat back onto the lanes. So regardless of when this Roche respawns, 5RAT are already in a position to contest.
Got a pause coming out here. So we have needed to pause maybe once or twice for some lag issues. Hopefully it's just something of that nature, but nothing any more serious. But now ET, we got to start looking over towards the Roche pit. 3 seconds on the initial timer. And at this point, honestly, if the timer's short, I'm not really sure who it benefits, because both squads are back up in their entirety. Okay, wow, that is not a cooperative timer. Nearly 3 minutes added, so no fight around the pit just yet.
And with that, it's hard to tell who it favors, but of course, one team has an Alk and the other team has a Naga, so everybody's going late. But with DNM and the items he has right now, he's got a full Scotty. He is a force to be reckoned with. And okay, they get Schofield. He's just gonna get popped.
That's a dieback.
No BKB of his own, and yeah, now.
Oh boy, Song catches 4. Do they know that they caught Dark Mago though?
Need the ice path set up.
They've got it. They lock him down, but yeah, K1 with a very nice Wukong's command from the high ground, really just gonna break this one up. And honestly, if he doesn't make that play, that fight could have gotten nasty for Beast Coast. And 5RAT, they say, cool, we pushed him out. Let's check Roche. No, still 2 minutes on that timer. So unfortunate for them, but honestly, they apply pressure to a weak point, right? Schofield already used his buyback, so he's off the field for a long time, and I hope he's happy with the items he has right now, ET, because he's not building up anything else for quite some time after losing all that gold.
No, it's where it is unfortunate, very unfortunate for 5RAT that they have to play the waiting game, because this is when they would be able to really press for that advantage, but they're farming, they're waiting, they do see Sacred, Ken moves, just using this ice path for all it's worth, just the most valuable spell he can steal, and really Stinger has to be so cautious about giving it over again, because it is game winning, it is setup, it is everything for 5RAT. It makes that Naga Siren pick even scarier. And they do decide to aggressively smoke, and 5RAT even double smoke, overzealous perhaps, but 1 minute left on the Roche. They're looking for the river picks, and they will not break on the low ground. But now 5RAT will get this mid creep wave in. Beast Coast are going to have to be the first ones to react, and 5RAT are looking for whoever comes to defend this mid wave. Ideally, it would be the Monkey King, but that's where Beast Coast, in making their own move, are putting themselves out of the danger zone.
Yeah. Under normal circumstances, you would think not dealing with that creep wave is a little bit of a risk, but it would be an even bigger risk to send someone back. Speaking of risk, though, Stinger, he is in some trouble. There's going to be no defensive play, though. AB1 pops in with the Carapace, so there is no Solar Guardian, but they do still manage to get off the Wukong's command, but there's the Song. That's going to reset the fight. They do take down the Tombstone before their BKBs wear off, but they will wear off, and now how do they respond? Ice Path getting thrown down. They're going to lock up Sacred. They finish him off first. No, they don't. There we go. They will get him. Now they're on to Dark Mago as well. Alchemist in some trouble. Needs backup. K1 trying to push in. Desperately attempting to save this Alchemist, but they cannot do it. They can't even kill Speed just yet. They'll finally bring him down, but that buys time for Kits to blink back in. K1 falls. Schofield dead as well. And Beast Coast, it feels like the window is closing for them. They go in for that fight. They lose just about everyone. 5 dead and a buyback expended, and now Roche is about as free as possible.
Yeah, they just get everything they want. They disjoint the Wukong's command from K1's BKB. They get the Song set up into another beautiful Ice Path from Moose, who finally doesn't have Ice Path anymore, but hey, they got what they wanted. They got Aegis. They've won 3 team fights off of the back of this Rubik and what he's been able to do with a simple spell, but simple is good. And now, with an Aegis on DNM, and of course, DNM was never under threat in that fight. You need to start hitting him. You need to start finding him. And that was the first time as well that we got to see AB1 just simply blink Carapace into the Solar Guardian. And then Schofield realizes how helpless he is into that matchup and why they went for the Nyx. And now, 20 seconds of the moment where you don't want to buy back, but you're going to lose the Jakiro. They're on to the racks.
They're onto the racks. A Bloodthorn is finished on DNM, and also, I want to point out as well, he took the shard from the Roche attempt, so now the song will be popped, and even if your BKBs can absorb a decent amount of that duration, it's still a reset in terms of healing up your own teammates, so that was kind of the issue before. They weren't hitting the Naga Siren because it takes them about a decade to kill speed in that fight, and now he'll have even more durability as long as he's in the song's radius.
Yeah, and now walking towards the high ground
Okay,
vision. And the monkey, no!
And there goes the Solar Guardian. It's canceled immediately. Dark Mago tried to get in on the back line, but the hammer has no anvil. It's just him alone. He'll kill Rubik, potentially? No, he won't. Moose is able to get himself away, and now here come the roots. Here come the stuns. Dark Mago is entirely by himself, but he's not dead yet. Still trying to fight. Still looking for anything. That is not ideal. Self-stun into death. Stinger will go down now as well. Beast Coast, I mean, they're floundering, ET. They're starting, I think, to just kind of panic and give in to the chaos, and 5RAT are maintaining perfect order in these engagements.
Yeah, and now is it 1 racks into tier 4s? That's what it feels like. They're going to be looking for your buybacks. Buybacks that the Alkin Monkey cannot give, and your Glyph's not getting refreshed. This might just be the game. I don't think there's any way for Beast Coast to defend. They have maybe a Mortimer Kisses to give out, and Sacred's got the level 20 town, and the Kisses will be there. They'll split. They're doing damage to the illusions and the creep wave, but there's no backdoor. There's no creep cut. Nothing's happening. Beast Coast have lost.
It's over. Sacred's going to try to pull off a miracle. He does push his way in, but the tombstone's down. The Walrus Punch is there. Sacred will fall, and that's going to be it. Schofield to get cleaned up as well, and there's your GG. Beast Coast. Oh, boy. They are going to be unbelievably upset with themselves after this one, but credit where credit is due, ET. 5RAT just kept hanging on until the absolute moment when they knew the momentum had shifted.
They stopped the bleeding. They started whittling down those BKBs. Great songs from DNM. And then, again, you can't say it enough. The Stolen Ice Path from Moose just carried team fight after team fight. And then AB1 also started feeling himself a little bit, starting hitting more carapaces, started getting those BKBs early, and then is able to duck out with the Vendetta in the fights and then show up at the last second. Just great execution. They just simply outfought Beast Coast at the end there for a good 10 minutes. Beast Coast were unable to start on the support, start on the backline, find anyone, even though felt like they had the vision and they had the position. They just were unable to connect. And I think the only reason that game goes even longer than it probably should have is because the Roche ended up making us all wait another 3 minutes. But 5RAT had everything. They had all the confidence in the world post that 30-minute mark. Every single team fight just went their way.
Just an exceptional level of play from them, and very, very good amounts of patience, right? Because they could have thrown the game away multiple times there. And there were some team fights where we were saying, you know, that they can't do this again. They have to back off. They can't try this. A couple of times where Kits got a little overzealous, but ET, you wouldn't really guess that from his final stat line, right? 18, 6, and 15, just kind of wiping away any memories of any missteps, and instead just sort of leaving behind an exemplary performance, to use my big word of the day, as 5RAT take game 1.
No, just the perfect abuse. Gets his BKB, plays for his timing, gets to avoid so many spells. And even though I don't think there were too many snowball saves, he just finds specifically Stinger at the beginning of almost every fight in the latter half of that game. And without the Jakiro, well, you've got an offlane Snapfire. You've got a 4 Dawnbreaker. Great heroes, great lane, but not an instant stun. And then everything falls onto the Concoction and the Boundless Strike being your only team fight tools. And then you say 5RAT just had better team fight. But coming into game 2, Beast Coast now in a best of 1, back against the wall, elimination, losing 5 games and getting eliminated in BTS Pro Series. That's something that Beast Coast don't want to have to deal with.
Yeah, that would not be an ideal debut for this new lineup, but we'll see what they can do. We'll see what adjustments come into play here. But their backs definitely against the wall. So we are going to be stepping away for just a couple of minutes here. When we come back, though, it will be the start of the Game 2 draft. So stick around, and we'll be right back.